Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel and I'm a huge Eurovision fan. I just want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who tuned into my reaction video yesterday and today. It's just been so overwhelming, all the comments, and yeah, I mean, this is just a bit of fun for me, but I really appreciate it when you guys tune in and comment and subscribe, so honestly, thank you so much. I'm just going to start off this video by doing a little quick review of yesterday's show. There was just a couple of things I wanted to bring up that I felt were necessary to talk about. Firstly, I got 8 out of 10 of my qualifiers, which was a good result for me. I'm pleased. It was a very open contest and I felt like at least two that I'd guessed were very red herring, so it was going to go wrong somewhere. So we lost Croatia last night and that was an utter devastation. I'm so upset about that, but I feel like she must be in 11th place with so many pop bops, female led backing dancers, that we were going to lose one or two, like we've also lost Romania, and that's my next point. Romania didn't qualify again, and apparently they had the lowest audience they've ever had on a semi-final in Eurovision history, and that's just screaming to me they might withdraw. I really don't want them to withdraw because they add something special to the contest year upon year. Roxanne was severely let down by her delegation because the mistake they made was putting staging first before vocals, and in the end she was probably being directed all over the place, poor thing, being told you need to run here, oh, and then you need to lie on the floor. They had all the smoke around her and stuff, and the vocals were poor because they were pulling her from pillar to post, mentally and physically, and that was wrong, and she didn't deserve that. And to be honest, I feel like after the jury rehearsal flopped for her, I think we might have our 15th or 16th place in that semi-final, and it's such a shame. My next point is that I want to say all of the performances yesterday were extremely good. They all pushed out the boat, and I felt like that was one of the years where I wanted everyone to go through, even North Macedonia, which people didn't like. So I felt like, you know, it was a high quality contest. Now, something else I wanted to say, being from the UK, some of you probably wouldn't have watched what I saw on my television, which was the broadcast from the BBC. We were supposed to have Rylan Clark-Neil, but he was taken ill. He's one of the commentators. He's actually, out of everyone, my favourite because he's at least respectful. And someone who's respectful to Eurovision gets my support. But he wasn't there, unfortunately. He was ill. And instead we had Scott Mills and Sarah Cox. Now, nothing against those two, but they've got a serious bee in their bonnet about Eurovision, and it drives me up the wall. I understand that Sarah was brought in at the last minute, but I'm sorry, don't introduce Manija as Manja. What are you doing? Get it right. It's disrespectful to Manija and her delegation. And secondly, when they were going through Tix's postcard, they spent the whole 30 seconds, plus a few more when he was even starting to perform, making fun of him. And they didn't once mention, what he stands for, his background, why he was dressed like that, what the song is about. No, they had 30 seconds to at least provide some context. The only thing that they got right was they talked about how he wrote Ava Max's hit song. Besides that, zilch. And instead they made fun of someone with Tourette's. Not explicitly, but they made fun of him. And I'm so glad that the UK was not voting that night, because we wouldn't have got what Tix was about. I had to explain it to the people watching in my household, what it was about, when they should have done that job for me, you know? And it's incredibly rude. And honestly, BBC, you need to freaking get yourselves sorted out. Rylan wouldn't have done that. We know Rylan wouldn't have done that. And it's upset me. It really has upset me. ridiculous. I've got no respect sometimes for the BBC, no respect. But anyway, let's move on. So today what I'm going to do really is talk about my predictions for semi-final 2, which is happening on Thursday, tomorrow night. This is a less predictable bunch of people going through because it's a bigger semi-final firstly, and also I feel like we had more solid entries before in semi-final 1. I took a bit of a risk with my semi-final 1 predictions by putting North Macedonia in 10th because I felt like maybe we had slightly underrated him and not really thought about the potentials from that performance with the whole Dotter disco ball effect. But sadly he didn't go through, and instead Belgium went through and Norway went through, who I didn't think was going to go through. So in my predictions today, I've kind of looked at what I did before and thought to myself, okay, I need to be a bit more realistic here, not take too many risks. So here it goes. I'm going to be quick with this one. I don't want to waste your time. So, winner of the semi-final, and sadly they will not be performing live on stage due to one of them testing positive for COVID. It's Iceland. Danín Gagnamagnith with 10 years. We have criminally underrated this as a fandom. Stop it, guys. This could win. It still has winner potential to it. People will be charmed by it. Let's not forget about it. And in terms of the split vote, what I've done is I've said Iceland will be 3rd with the juries and 1st with the public. They will win the hearts of the public. Let's not beat around the bush about that. In 2nd place, Switzerland. This would have won the semi-final, but the staging has come out and it looks interesting, to say the least. John's Tears with Tulliver. It's a very kind of avant-garde modern take on the song. Does it work? Not really sure. I like the props they're using, but honey, I'm sorry. What is this?
I don't do that shit, I do it all go. You got met by little T, now you're getting met by me.
What is this?
You shag there lad.
Sasha, please, what have you done? He's dropped in the odds. He's dropped in the odds. It's such a beautiful song with a beautiful voice, and he's standing there looking like freaking Eminem in 2002, and it's so snobby that it stinks. It's just not going to connect with as many people as it had the potential to, and that is disgraceful. But it's still going to do well. I've put here 1st with the juries because there's some of the juries who are snobby will absolutely mess their pants for this. But unfortunately the public will only put in 4th place, and I mean that's still great, but the potential it had has not been fulfilled. Winner vibes disappeared. I found it's still going to go well. Top 10, not top 5 now in my opinion. In 3rd place we have Greece. They promised us never seen before staging. This turned out to be a green screen with people wearing green so that only their clothes and not their limbs and head came out onto the camera. Again, never seen before. I mean, the only kind of wow moment apparently is when she climbs up this green screen staircase, and obviously the audience can't see that, and then she's sort of floating around backwards and forwards. But otherwise, I mean, it's fantastic, but it's not outstanding. It's not 10 out of 10 by the looks of it, but it's still going to do well. I think delegation shouldn't take the risk of saying, oh, never seen before staging, ooh, and then it turns out to be a damp squib. Like, don't do that to us. But yeah, Greece, 2nd with the juries. They'll love her voice, she looks amazing. 5th with the public. I mean, eye candy, she'll get lots of votes. In 4th place, San Marino, Senhit featuring Flo Rida, who has actually flown Rida into Rotterdam. Pardon the pun, that was awful. Maybe I'll cut that out, I don't know. But San Marino, they have now gone up in the betting odds because Flo Rida is here. That is fantastic for them. This is Adrenalina. I mean, I'm going to be filled with adrenaline when I'm watching this performance because it's going to rock the semi-final. It's opening, it's going to stand out a mile, loads of different colours, and just the traction it's going to get having Flow Rider there. 7th in the juries because juries hate rap. Let's be honest, I feel like Manisha was probably let down slightly yesterday because of the rap part. So I'm not going to kind of overrate this, but the public, I put them in 2nd because I think people will recognise Flow Rider and appreciate, even, you know, without Flow Rider, just the fact that it's a bop. So, I mean, nothing really much more to say. In 5th place, we have Bulgaria. Still going to do very, very well, but I have a feeling that it might be a flop. It could be a flop, but it also could be a total, you know, amazing score. In terms of Bulgaria, Growing Up is Getting Old by Victoria Georgieva. 4th place with the juries. Her voice is sweet, it's nice, the staging looks really, really good, but people might find this depressing as hell. People might see this as a toilet break. I don't know if it's going to capture people, stop them in their tracks, we'll see, but I put them 6th with the public just to kind of, you know, compliment what I've said here. That's still a qualifier though. She hasn't failed in either half of the votes, so I'm just going to keep it like that. Bulgaria, probably going to be in the top 10 again this year, but we'll see what happens with that public vote. In 6th place, we have Finland. Don't underestimate the power of rock at Eurovision, especially with the public, because I've put them as 3rd in the public half of the results. Blind Channel with The Dark Side, extremely arresting. It's going to wake everyone up straight after Bulgaria as well. People are going to remember this. It's towards the end of the running order, which is always good because it's in the forefront of people's minds. So yeah, we can't write that one off either. 8th place with the juries because rock tends to struggle slightly in the contest, but I think just the fact that it's so catchy as well. It's a well-written melody line, and that hook itself is very musically great, and juries, musical professionals as they're called, should hopefully give this a little bit of love. In 7th place, we have Serbia, Hurricane with Loco Loco, criminally underrated by the bookmakers until very recently after the rehearsals came out. The colour scheme they're using is very different from everyone else because it's more monochrome, black and white, and their outfits is like a triptych of 3 different types of outfit. We've got a play suit, a jumpsuit, and the sort of dress skirt thing that Sanya is wearing. They all look amazing, sound amazing, choreographed to the T. Nothing much more to say. Unfortunately, they don't have too many friends in the semi-final. I can see here maybe Moldova might be giving them points. Potentially Bulgaria as well. Not sure about other countries. Albania, not sure. So in that sense, I put them as 9th with the juries because some juries might see this as a bit cheap. It's not though. And 7th with the public because it will do well. They're really charismatic. They're going to, again, wake people up, and people will latch onto this because after Serbia comes 4 very kind of slow, ballady type pieces of music, and that will be an advantage to them. In 8th place, we have Portugal. This is my first qualifier that I initially didn't think would go through, but after seeing the rehearsals, it looks classy, it looks well put together. This is the Black Mamba with Love Is On My Side. It stands out so much actually from its counterparts because, you know, the sound of it, the rock, but soft rock with the violins and the silhouette of the orchestra in the background as well, looks so nice, and that will kind of all marry so nicely on stage together, appreciated by the juries because here I've got them as 5th place with the juries. Sorry, there's an ice cream van coming. Ooh. Yeah, 5th with the juries because I think musical experts will appreciate it. 13th with the public because it is in that cluster of ballads and maybe it might get a bit lost, but that is enough to put it through, and I think we might be surprised and it might go through on the night. In 9th place, Albania, another one that I wasn't too sure about, but after seeing the rehearsals it blew me away. This didn't need to be overstaged, it's literally just Angela Peristeri on stage singing Karma, and you've got this cloud of red billowing smoke behind her that is cued to the music. It looks very effective. She's like a diva on stage, she just commands stage presence. Nothing much more to say. It has an ethnic flavour to it, which makes it stand out from other people's entries. And I feel like people will, televoters especially, go for this. I've got this as 10th with the juries and 9th with the televoters. It's not musically amazing per se, but it's good enough, I think, to go through. And I think in terms of combining that split vote, there'll be so much discrepancies that it will sneak through in 9th place. And now I'm going to jump to my dreaded non-qualifiers. Unfortunately, like I said last time, hate doing this, but I'm gonna have to do it, and I'm gonna have to do it quickly. In this case, last place, Georgia, not a shock. Staging looks bland. He's in the dark most of the time. It's almost sort of like anesthetic, in my opinion. It's literally sonic anesthetic. I can't really say much more about this. He had a better shot last year. He should have gone on that vibe. He changed it up and it has not worked in his favour. Tourniquet Kipiani with You, 16th with the juries and last with the public. No shocker there. In 16th place, Latvia. Sorry guys, Samantha Tina is not going to make it to the final. The staging is too bare, the vocals were sharp, and I just don't really see much hope in this. I've got this as 15th with the juries, 16th with the public. It's got a trap beat. Juries hate this sort of thing. The discrepancy of her voice being very diva-ish and then having this Kendrick Lamar kind of undertones, you know, I don't know how people are going to appreciate that. Second last with the public, it's just not going to stand out. It's sandwiched between Finland and Switzerland, which are very, very powerhouse in different ways pieces of music, and this is just going to make it look cheap. It's going to cheapen it. So I'm sorry guys, non-qualified for Latvia once again. In 15th place, unfortunately, is Poland. So here I've got 17th with the juries, which is dead last. The clips we've seen have not been promising. Rafał seems out of time, at points out of tune, unfortunately. The choreography looks weird and they've got pyrotechnics literally covering his face. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do, literally covering the artist's face when they're performing. I mean, I'm sorry, they need to rethink that, and I hope we don't see that tomorrow night. Yeah, last with the juries, but 11th with the public. It depends on whether the Polish diaspora are going to rally around this, because from what I've seen online, they all hate this song. Not much hope here, but I don't think it's enough to come dead last. In 14th place, Czech Republic. Heartbroken, but the rehearsals are just not strong enough. Vocals are not there, and there's this strange backing vocal that's an octave higher than Benny that sounds like an animal. No offense, it sounds like a whining kangaroo when it's singing, and I'm sure that person is a great singer, but on top of Benny's vocals it just doesn't work, it clashes, and Benny's not putting enough effort into it by the looks of it. The staging's bare, the dancing looks all right, but in the end it's third in the running order, going to get completely and utterly lost. And unfortunately, I don't think this is going through. The song is great though. The song is one of the most modern of the year. It's current, it's catchy, but unfortunately it's been staged terribly. Split vote for that one. I put him in 13th with the juries, 15th with the public. They kind of agree there. In 13th place, Estonia. The Estonian star Uko Savisti is going to capture the attention of middle-aged women, but whether the points are going to flow in, it's hard to say, because I've put him in 14th place with the juries and 12th with the public. He's going to be a borderline one with the public, but unfortunately the running order for the lucky one is not lucky in this case. So yeah, Estonia are not going through this year. They're another one that probably need to rethink what they're doing this year. Sorry guys, nope. And now in 12th place, Moldova. I actually really like the staging in this case, but when it comes to the split vote, 11th with the juries, 10th with the public, probably not going to be enough to scrape through. It's so borderline, but unfortunately, looking back on the staging they've chosen, they have not done enough to come across as kitsch and super duper crazy, and it's just too safe. They're playing it safe and they shouldn't have done this. So unfortunately, I don't think it's going through. If it does go through, it will be a scrape through. And they don't really have too many neighbours to support, because we haven't got Ukraine or Russia. Belarus is not in it this year. Romania was in the semi-final yesterday. and then maybe the Czech Republic might give them points, Poland maybe, but it feels like Balkan vote has been split between the two semi-finals and it's not going to be helpful this year. So unfortunately, no Moldova. And finally, we've come down to the final two. The final two in the list, we've got Denmark and Austria. These are the two I was most unsure about, and in fact, they both got the exact same score in my calculations, so they're both supposed to be in and not in. So I had to make a decision as to who I'm going to put in, and I'm going to make a risk here, and I'm going to put Denmark in. They are performing last, it will be at the front of everyone's brains, and that is a huge advantage to them. The juries will hate this, but the public will love it, in my opinion. It's 80s, it's going to capture the attention of all middle-aged people who grew up in the 80s. And I mean, the dance moves are memeable. I think people will do a San Marino 2019 on this and vote for it. And that means that Austria is going to come 11th. The juries are going to absolutely love Austria, but the public are going to fall asleep in this performance. It's classy, it's staged well. In my opinion, there's not enough noise. He needs backing singers on this. He needs a bit more pyrotechnics. It's just him in a black suit on a podium thingy, just like Cesar Sampson, and I feel like it's just slightly on the lazy side. So unfortunately, Austria is a non-qualifier for me this year, but they might scrape through. I think it's going to be between these two in the end. So in terms of split vote, I've got Austria in 6th with juries because they will like this. His voice is great, but 14th with the public, and I feel like that will let him down. Denmark, 12th with the juries and 8th with the public. Let's see what happens, but yeah. So in the end, my qualifiers for semi-final 2. In first place, Iceland, followed by Switzerland, Greece, San Marino, Bulgaria, Finland, Serbia, Portugal, Albania, and Denmark scraping through there at the end. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It really helps me out. Leave a comment down below as to your predictions and let me know if you agree or disagree with what I have just rambled on about for almost 25 minutes. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow for my reactions. Bye.